Welcome to Campfire Chronicles, episode number
14.
Okay. I listened to what you said and didn't listen. Okay, today is going to be a Q&A episode, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It's actually our second Q&A episode.
Oh, really?
Hmm?
We've done one before? Okay, should we just get right into it?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
All right, so we've got a question from Luca. In all of the adventures that you three have been on, what has been the most important life messages and challenges that you've faced and learned? And how has all that traveling affected your daily lives?
Does anybody have an answer?
You know, I think actually for me, some of it has to do with like the struggle. Like we always talk about the struggle.
Yeah.
And just how rewarding it can be and how good it is to put yourself through like hardship sometimes. Physical hardship at least.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we actually don't do all that much traveling, even though it seems like we do. But, well, I mean, we do a fair amount though, I guess.
Well, I mean, every time we go somewhere, that's technically traveling, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not home.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, to the Walmart.
No, I think for me, it's like, this is going to sound super cheesy and super corny, but it's really the old Buddha, everything passes. So like, no matter how uncomfortable you are or how amazingly good you feel, it's going to pass. Like for better or for worse, you're always going to come back to like that little creamy middle. So like even like in the worst of times, like when it's raining and it's like you're cold and tired, and then in the best of times, like I'm looking at Yosemite on the screen right there, where it's just like, oh, that's Yellowstone, isn't it? Yellowstone. And it's just like you can't imagine how good everything is, and it's over before you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like what I've kind of learned or taken from all of our trips is that you know, during a trip you may be extremely uncomfortable or you're tired, your legs are killing you, but we always talk about that contrast, you know. Got to find that balance, right? Yep. So you know, those hardships that you endure on the trail and stuff, they really make you appreciate, you know, just being able to come back to a house and have a meal or something like that.
Yeah.
So you really kind of see both sides of it and you just appreciate it all that much.
Yeah.
Also, for me, like when we're out there, it makes me realize how petty all of my daily struggles and worries are. Because like when you're out there for like those 3 days, right, you don't think about any of that stuff. And you realize that life goes on without you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
any of those problems that you have, you could just not do anything about them. And life would go on just fine. And like life has gone on forever, but
Yeah.
maybe we should move on. Sorry.
We'll go in a circle and then we'll just move on to the next one. We got a question from Tom. He says, my 5-year-old daughter wants to know when you'll go backpacking with another girl. It's hard to say exactly when, but we do have a friend in Germany who's willing to come on a trip with us. It's just a matter
Brazil
of,
too, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Brazil. And they're both willing to go on a trip with us.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of planning that trip.
Yeah.
We just don't have many friends that are girls that like camping.
And also not in the next 2 episodes. Because we've already filmed those.
Yeah. It's a fun bit of trivia. We actually went to Sleeping Bear Dunes and Manitou with a girl. It was my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
She just wasn't in. You can look, if you look carefully, you can see her in some of the shots.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll notice that we're in the shots and someone's holding a camera.
Holding the camera,
Yeah. All right, next question is from Karen. I'm always amazed at the botanical knowledge as well as the food preparation. What is your most amazing meal out in the forest made with the things you find and a grocery item?
Okay, so I've got a few answers. One time I made a pizza where the dough was like infused with wild leeks.
Oh.
And put some on top as well.
Wait, was that in an episode?
No.
Oh.
I was like, I don't remember that.
It's like he just made it behind our backs and ate it.
Like one time I was in the woods and I collected spice bush berries. I guess you just call them spice berries. Puff balls and some stinging nettle, and made 3 cups chicken with all of that, which is like a traditional Taiwanese dish. So yeah, that's for a potluck in one of my Ohio plants classes.
Oh, really?
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Nice.
I think
oh, go ahead.
Okay. I think one of the most memorable ones I did, it's not even like that complex. It's really simple. But when we went to just kind of like sleep outside for a night or two, and we found a bunch of wild leeks just around our campsite, and we had brought, for some reason, frozen fish fillet. So we just threw the fish fillet on the fire in a pan and with the wild leeks, and it was just really good.
I mean, everything I've cooked out in the wild you've seen on the episodes. At the time, probably like the coolest thing we made was that Hiker's Pizza in the first episode of Dolly Sods. That was good.
I don't think we put anything wild on it, but it's still good.
Oh yeah, I guess.
The mushrooms from Manitou were good.
Oh right, yeah.
The oyster mushrooms.
Yeah.
That was a great dish.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Next question we've got from Brandon. How long does it take to plan a trip for 3 to 4 people? Do you have any trip ideas banked up, or do locations come to mind spontaneously? Any desire to do a desert episode? I think you guys answered that in the last podcast, actually, which was yes. So
don't know exactly.
How long does it take to plan a trip for 3 to 4 people?
I was gonna say I think
it depends on one, who plans it, and two, where we go.
Yeah. It depends where you go and how well you want it to be planned.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like some trips literally take no planning at all.
Yeah. You
just
go.
Yeah.
Like the Tea Creek Trail one, we just kind of we're like, okay, we'll go here. We're gonna go that day. Weather looks okay. Let's go.
A lot of national forests are like that, where you can just
anything where you have to fly that takes planning.
Definitely.
Right.
Or meet with someone.
Right.
National parks.
North
generally.
Manitou trip took a bit of planning because
we had to get
it was the height of bug season, so we were concerned about that, and then you also have to worry about the ferry schedule.
It doesn't take long.
I
think that's the basic answer. Like even when you do like a trip, like when we did Yellowstone or Yosemite, like it's just coordinating everybody and making sure that they can go. Like when we planned the Japan trip, we just decided we were going.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we had a lot of help from Rob and Michael. They helped plan it.
That's true. Yeah.
They planned it at the camping store. But the actual like getting to Japan, we bought the plane tickets in the car on the way to Tea Creek. So, which by the way, for those of you who don't know, Tea Creek is the next episode that's going to be released. It was in Monongahela.
As an example, Nicole and I planned Allegheny, and technically it just took us like an afternoon to plan it.
Yeah.
About all we really needed to worry about was that everyone could go, what the weather was like, and what trail we wanted to take. And actually we had planned it we hadn't originally planned to go Allegheny. We planned to go to New River Gorge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But the weather we saw on that weekend was going to be rainy, so we were like, okay, Allegheny's the backup.
Allegheny was a great
choice.
choice.
There was three main trails to kind of choose from. We just Googled some pictures and we're like, okay, this one's got a reservoir. That always is, good times. So we planned it.
That is the biggest thing, I think, when it comes to planning is like, even in a place that doesn't require any permits or fees or anything like that, is just looking at the map and trying to find a nice trail, especially if you're filming it, because you want something that'll like have a lot of
You want
cool
some
stuff.
diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want a
maybe
nice
little
loop
adversity.
usually.
It always makes the trip interesting.
Yeah.
And I also want to throw in a side statement that this is not including, like, if you're a first-time hiker or you're still beginner and you still need to know, like, what kind of things you need, that's going to take a lot more planning, because we have everything we need. We've been on plenty of trips. We pretty much just pack our bags and we go. So if you're still new to hiking, make sure you do your research on what you need.
Cool. Next. Yeah.
Next question from Steve. He wants to know more about the gear and equipment we use, what we started with, and how it evolved to what we have now.
Okay.
I think we're planning on doing a video while Robby was here.
Yeah, so we'll eventually do a video that details all of our gear, but maybe we should just talk in general about how our gear has evolved. What things have we lost, what things have we added. You want to start?
I'll start. I think we all started with trying to save money, and we eventually realized that you need to spend some money to make sure you have gear that will get you through the camping trip. So me and Andrew once started with this really shabby Coleman tent, like Walmart backpacks. I was actually the first one to get a legitimate backpack, and I was just like, guys, you got to get a backpack like this. It makes a huge difference. And we've just upgraded here and there, like new sleeping bags. I've talked about this before in a Campfire Chronicles a long time ago, but each trip you go on, you kind of like learn from your experience.
It's iterating. It's like you always iterate and you find something that you need. Sometimes the lesson takes a long time to be learned, like the raincoats.
And Robby's pack weight. He finally had like the last straw in Japan.
Well, see, okay, so that's one thing we can talk about. I got my sleeping bag after a trip we went to in Hocking Hills. I didn't bring anything. I just assumed somebody else had brought some blankets or something. So I literally had nothing to sleep in. And that's another story for another time. But after that one, I vowed I would never be cold camping again. So I got a 5-degree Fahrenheit sleeping bag. I've had that thing since 2009. But the only problem with it is 6 pounds and is huge. So that's one thing that's actually never changed in my bag, but I really want to change. And my tent's actually been the same, but I stopped bringing it because it was so heavy, and I usually am just under the tarp with Andrew. So,
Yeah, actually, I don't think you need to spend money. I just think it's actually more worth it than spending money in other like hobbies and areas of life. But
well, when I say you need to spend money, I mean just don't cheap out.
I guess if you're eventually getting
budget brands,
if you're gonna get serious, you might as well get it now instead of buying like
everything
two of
that
the
I've
same
bought
thing.
that was like a cheap brand.
Yeah.
It lasted for like one trip.
by the way, is botten a word? I say botten all the time.
I don't know. No,
It's just bought, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely just fun. But I started out with this Bridger 4000 backpack or something, and I actually really liked it, like the way all the pockets were, but it's just constantly sagging on my shoulders.
Well, to be fair, you never got it sized, and you never bothered adjusting the straps.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like I was fine. Like my shoulders hurt, but I was fine.
Yeah.
And I had a crappy 40-degree bag, and like I was cold a lot, but I still stayed alive. And
I liken it to just anything else. It's like you can always get by with whatever, right? Just like camera gear, for instance. Like we could film the episodes on a phone. It wouldn't look as good, but we could still. A lot of times it's just your creativity. It's not like. So in the same way, like your backpacking gear, if it gets the job done, then just go ahead and use it. Like obviously spend the most money that you can to afford, based on how much you're willing to invest. But I mean,
don't let it stop you, basically.
Yeah, don't let it stop you. Exactly. Yeah.
The end point for me, or the conclusion, or what am I trying to say? The bottom line to me when it comes to camping is that camping is about preparation. Like some level of enjoyment on your camping trip is going to be related to how well you prepare for that trip. So, if you're going for cold weather, make sure you've got cold weather stuff. If you, don't want to have a heavy pack, try and lighten your load where you can. It's just, just be smart about it, basically.
Yeah, I just want to lighten my load. So, we'll leave it at that. Next question.
Next question. Let's see. This question is from, and I might say this name wrong, Junkal. He says, do we have plans on visiting different countries?
Yes.
Oh, it's Hunkal. It's a she.
Hunkal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hunkal.
I looked it up.
Okay. Where would it be? And, if we have plans for visiting different countries.
Oh my God, dude, I've got so many plans. Norway. I want to go to Norway so badly it hurts. Or Sweden. Sweden would be okay too.
And I think everybody probably knows about this by now, but we did go to Japan.
Yeah.
That was our first overseas trip. And we met some awesome German people, and now I really want to go to Germany.
Yeah, Germany's great.
Yeah.
And also these are all plans, nothing solid, but like Brazil would be really cool.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
I've always said
everywhere.
New Zealand too. I think New Zealand would be
We've
really
got a
cool.
friend in New Zealand right now. He's doing a work visa program.
Yeah.
And he said we could go there anytime.
I've heard you can camp around the Great Wall, so I want to see if that's actually feasible to actually do like a backpacking thing.
So maybe we could say... I guess we can move on to the next question.
Okay.
I was going to say why we want to go to different countries, but we'll save that for another time.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, so I want to go everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question from a longtime patron, Meredith McLaughlin.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good pronunciation.
Because it's right in front of me. Who is the most superstitious / easily scared in the woods at night? And what's the weirdest thing that happened to you in the woods? I'm going to say that I'm probably not the most superstitious.
It's Andrew.
You think it's me?
Without question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you know? I feel like you can get scared.
No, you get scared of the dark still.
If I'm sleeping out in the woods, yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
The most intimidated I've seen Robby was probably in Allegheny.
Yeah.
But that was also partially just because it was a bad choice to keep going in the dark.
Man.
If you've seen the Allegheny episode, you know what we're talking
See, in
about.
that situation, that's the only reason I was wondering this, because in that situation, I felt like you were more scared.
No, I wasn't scared. I was just like, we're not. I mean, no. Let me rephrase. I was scared, but it wasn't so much that like I was scared of like getting eaten by a witch. I was just like, yo, we're going back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were kind of like feeding off each other's fear too.
I don't want to like try to sound like I'm a tough guy or something. No, waves of fear like went through my body when I saw those sticks. I was like,
Yeah.
oh god.
No, for me, it's like I feel like if I'm in a group, I'm okay, because even though that was scary, I still like rationally thought like, well, I don't think anything from the like will actually happen.
Yeah.
But when I'm alone, it's like it can get scary. Like if you're trying to sleep alone or something.
To answer the second part of the question, what's the weirdest thing that happened in the woods?
It's gotta be
Probably
Allegheny.
Allegheny.
Yeah, that's the only weird thing that's ever really happened for me. Actually,
it's just probably easier to watch the episode and see what happens.
I've got a friend, I've got a friend who had a story of a weird thing. Where he was in Wayne somewhere, not the trail we did, but like the Wildcat Hollow, and he sees this guy by the lake who's just got a giant Nazi swastika on his back, like tattooed.
whoa.
So he just like backed up.
He was like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go the other direction. Yeah, actually, nothing weird has happened.
Yeah.
I've
will
never
say-
been by myself though, so
I will say, in this upcoming episode that we got at Tea Creek, it doesn't sound scary now, but
Oh,
when we
yeah.
were sleeping in the car that night, like at 4 a.m., a car drives on the street past us, where we were sleeping, and typically that doesn't sound weird, but we were like in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
So I remember seeing the headlights wake me up, and that goes by, and I'm just like, I grab the steering wheel, I'm like, who the heck is out here at 4 a.m.? It could only
that's
be a
spoiler
serial
for the
killer.
episode.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Whatever.
All right. Next question from Josiah. What kind of audio/video equipment do you use?
Here's
The
some of
video
our
is always
audio.
superb quality, but it really gets me how great the audio sounds.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
this?
we use the Rode Video Mic Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mainly what we use. But lots of times we'll use a wireless transmitter, so it's called the Rode Link, like the Filmmaker Kit or something. But yeah, if you look up Rode Link, you'll find it. But we hook the Rode Video Mic Pro into that, and then we have that right next to us. Sometimes we're even holding it, and then that transmits to the camera. But the Rode Video Mic Pro is
It doesn't
like-
work very well.
Well, recently it has interference. I think that might be my microphone actually, but it's not made for that either. It's made for a lav mic. Anyway,
Oh,
so we use that, but the Rode Video Mic Pro sounds fantastic. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's how we get the audio quality.
We used to
yeah.
use lav mics, but
Yeah,
and then the cameras Sony A7S II and Panasonic GH4.
yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that is the cameras themselves, but also mostly you. But we've all learned like a little bit on how to use them properly, so it looks really good.
All right. Next question we've got from Catherine. Will you ever invite one of your subscribers on one of your epic adventures as a special guest? Yes. It's just difficult to plan.
We can barely get all three of us out at the same
Yeah,
time.
there's that, and also like
How would we choose is another
yeah.
one. Maybe we could do a raffle or something.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Like that just came to me as you said it, but
If they live in another country, then it's more likely.
yeah. Yeah, well actually, yeah, well, maybe we should just put that out there right now. If you live in another country and you want to take us out somewhere, it's much more likely that we would.
Yeah.
Although then it wouldn't be us taking you, it'd be you taking us.
But you'd be in the video.
But I think like yeah, a raffle would be cool, and also
Yeah.
just like we've been talking about it for a while, but we haven't done it. But it'd be cool to do a meetup.
Yeah, a
just have
meetup or a
people-
group hike or something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next question from Jason Likens. What's up,
Yeah,
Jason?
good old Jason
Likens
Likens.
his comment.
This one is not really related to AA, but it's a good question. If you had to pick one of the following apocalypse scenarios, which would it be and why?
I'm
Sentient
ready.
AI, zombie, or alien invasion? If you had to pick one of the following superpowers, which would it be and why? Hold on. The question got cut off. So answer the first part.
I
got my answer.
Sentient AI for me, because I think that'd be the easiest to shut down. Well, I don't know. I just feel like they'd run out of fuel eventually.
No batteries.
Yeah.
You got one?
You can do yours.
Okay, mine is
Yours is aliens, right? Yeah.
Aliens for sure. For one thing, I've always wanted aliens to land because I just want that to happen in my lifetime where there's other life in the universe that can talk just like us. But if they're bad guys, that's not better. But that's not bad because then the human race will finally, presumably, come together and be like, we have a common enemy. We have nowhere else to go. We're finally going to band together. And at least we would have an enemy that we have nothing.
We'd go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, you know? It'd be awesome, dude.
Now, this is interesting. I think we all picked different ones, didn't we? I would go with a zombie apocalypse. And the reason is because there's so much zombie media that I feel like we've got to be most prepared for that.
Yeah, everybody would probably be excited.
Everyone would be like grabbing their guns and be like, I'm finally ready for this.
My Mall Ninja sword is finally going to get some use.
All right. The other part of his question was, let's see. If you had to pick one of the following superpowers, which would it be and why? Invisibility, but only you're screaming.
Only you're what? Oh, you're screaming while you're invisible?
Yeah, only when you're screaming. Flight, but only as fast as you can walk. Teleportation, but only your body, not your clothes.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
That's
super easy. Teleportation. You
Teleportation.
just have to
Yeah.
teleport naked.
Yeah,
No
teleportation,
problem.
yeah.
You just teleport somewhere where people won't get offended.
yeah.
I don't know, though. Flying might be more practical, though.
Flying would be really fun.
If you can
Flying
keep your
would be
clothes.
really nice, considering we go on hikes.
I
but
just
it's
gotta
only
learn
at
to
walking speed. That's really
No,
slow.
you just learn to speed walk like hell. You know, just one foot on the
Think about
ground.
it,
Like
like you could fly, like you could fly up a mountain. You just do it at a slower pace, you know. If you're
That's
not
true.
really,
What do you get
trying
as
to somewhere
exhausted?
fast.
That's the other question, though. Because if it saves me energy too, and I can fly to the top of Yosemite or something,
Yeah.
even if it's at the same
the
3
views
hours,
would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my
You'd
God.
like fly to the top of like Mount Whitney, fully clothed with everything you need, and Robbie's at the top shivering his butt off.
That's a good point. I wasn't thinking from a camping perspective. I was just thinking from a
No, yeah.
daily life
No,
practicality.
I think
No, yeah.
teleportation would definitely be the most useful.
Yeah.
Especially
you're naked.
since I'm looking at airplane tickets and I'm just like,
Well, no, actually teleportation, because you can, even if you're naked, you can teleport something, do whatever you need to do, and get out of there before anyone makes a
That's
big deal.
true.
of it.
Yeah.
So teleportation is my answer.
You just whoop, you teleport.
All right, we
No,
got
even-
our next question from Taya Stein.
Oh, hey.
That's the German girl
Yep.
that we were referencing earlier.
What are the three most important things / items or equipment that you guys take on your camping trips and are the most essential? I'm gonna say excluding backpacks, because I think a backpack is
Obviously.
like a given.
Yeah.
You want to start, Andrew?
For
I mean,
me,
are we excluding the big three, like shelter, sleeping bag, backpack?
Sure. Let's exclude the big three. So excluding a backpack, excluding a shelter, and excluding a sleeping bag.
I think a knife, some sort of fire starter, and some sort of container for water. Because with all those things, I can do everything else that I need. I can build a shelter, I can get food, I can start a fire, I can purify my water. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with.
What would you purify the water with?
A container of water
Well, no,
on the
but
fire.
we're talking about camping
Oh,
trips.
on
We're
the
not talking about
fire.
survival.
Even that, if that's the case, still a
Camping
knife. I think a knife is still really useful.
Yeah.
Raincoat.
Yeah, raincoat. Yeah,
Raincoat.
I would say water filter.
Water filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Which-
something people don't think about is they just are like, oh, I'll just bring all the water I need.
Yeah, I
Just
guess
bring a
like
water
that's
filter.
sort of a survival thing, but it's also not, because it's a convenience to just be able to pump it
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
having to like boil.
And I mean,
yeah.
we always use it on our camping trips.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're in a survival
Every single
situation.
time,
but-
every day. Yeah.
Oh, wait, so
what
what did
was
you
the
say?
third one? I said rain jacket, water filter, and thermal underwear. Yeah, because
okay.
it's like
yeah, the
think it's cold.
unisoc.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to second the rain jacket, the water filter. And I'd probably say a good pair of footwear.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go on a trip with bad boots or something, you're gonna be miserable, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow.
I mean,
it down
I've
to
gone
really.
with New Balance shoes before, and I've been fine. But I think that depends on just shoes that fit. Probably, yeah.
mhm.
Boots are way better though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't given that too much thought. I don't know. It's like even when I give that thought, there's not too many things that I really consider essential beyond like the big three and the water filter and a rain jacket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like you need water, some food. You don't even need food really. You just need water.
Oh, first aid, I guess.
First aid, yeah.
That,
We've never had to use it, though.
It's hard to boil something down into essentials when it's like, if you're not talking about survival, it's like kind of by its nature not an essential thing.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Because like for me, camera would be essential, but it's not.
I'm just
you know?
trying to like reflect on
What
we
you've
used a lot,
Yeah.
and the times I've been most miserable camping.
Yeah.
I know those are like, we use a water filter a lot. I hate it when it rains,
Yeah.
and I can get foot pains really easily if I don't, I'm not wearing the right thing. So.
I'd say a pillow is actually one addition I just made very recently, and man, for me it makes such a huge difference. I know for a lot of people they don't care.
For me, I just need warmth at night. Like comfort is not it's just warmth mostly. It's nice to be comfortable. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This next question from Kyle. When you fly to Yosemite or Yellowstone, do you take your backpacks? Do you check them into luggage or carry-on?
So I've actually, at least with my old backpack, I've used that as carry-on. But because we're bringing like knives and other things, we tend to just check it.
Yeah.
At least one of them. But
Knives and fire starting stuff.
My old backpack I used to be able to just do as a carry-on, but my new one's so big that as soon as they see it, they're like, "You're gonna have to check that."
Yeah.
So we check it.
He also asked, do they get beat up by the storage crew?
Not in our experience.
Actually flown with it like 3 times now. I've never had.
We're careful
I've never
not to
really-
put anything like too delicate in there and stuff.
Yeah, I always make sure that all the straps are tightened up so there's nothing loose flapping around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, we also, at least I do, I make sure that anything that could get beat up is like in the middle of the pack. And there's, like,
surrounded by
clothes around it or
clothes,
something. So that, because I know they do throw it. So like things could get beat up.
I'm trying to think if I've left my headlamp in there. I think I have, but it's wrapped in a jacket. So.
I put my PlayStation Portable in a backpack one time and I checked it because I had toothpaste. So they made me check it. And man, that screen was demolished.
Really?
After
Man.
I got it back. Yeah.
Dang, I'd be so annoyed.
Yeah, I was mad.
I wouldn't put anything in there that could break. That's
that
for sure.
was just my own stupidity.
All right. Erica asks kind of a mundane question. It's always important to ask questions of. What are your favorite brands of socks for hiking? Socks are always hidden, of course, in the hiking boots during the videos, but they always make a big difference.
I don't have a specific brand. I just wear wool socks. We have some REI socks.
Yeah. I wouldn't say a specific brand, but I always do wear wool socks because they add a little extra cushion, extra warmth.
Well,
And
I
they're
have
taller.
one pair of hiking socks is smart wool socks, but I'm not like too keen on the brand, but I am super keen on the brand Darn Tough. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's a Vermont brand, and apparently they make hiking socks too, but it's like they have a lifetime guarantee, and so far I've only had them for like 6 months. They're the most indestructible socks I've ever had. They're fantastic.
Oh, is that them right there?
Yeah, right here.
Oh.
Okay.
See, I was wearing ones earlier with a hole, but mine don't have it.
I've been actually interested in looking at getting some sort of like thin inner layer for like a sock. So like I could
They
wear
have
that
those.
and then put the wool socks over.
So it's tight and you won't get blisters.
So I won't get blisters, and like it would absorb sweat, so that instead of drying a wool sock, I can dry like this thin layer.
They actually sell things specifically for that.
Yeah,
too.
they have them for gloves too. I was thinking about picking them up after Japan.
Oh.
Because every time I took my gloves off in Japan, they were sweaty.
Oh, actually, you know what? Let me just double down on these Darn Tough socks. Like, we're not getting paid by Darn Tough, but these are the best socks I've ever used. Just letting you know that.
Okay.
That would
All
be
right.
nice to reduce all my socks.
Yeah, I
into
have
one.
6
Like-
pairs of socks, and it's just these.
I will say, when it comes to socks, I do like ones that are kind of higher for camping, just because then stuff doesn't fall in my boots.
These aren't ideal for camping at all.
Yeah. Because also, if they're too low like that, then they slip a lot and
Yeah.
get under your heel and stuff.
But
Okay.
they do make camping ones. Sorry, go on.
That's fine. Next question is from
Darn Tough.
Hot for the Hills, West Virginia.
Really quick, that last question is irrelevant now because Christmas is past. Everyone's already gotten their socks.
Was that a Christmas question?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's just like how socks is like.
Yeah,
typical.
terrible joke. Got it.
All right. We were wondering if you guys had ever heard of Otter Creek Wilderness in West Virginia near Parsons. If
Nope.
so, ever thought of going there for an adventure? Andrew, ever heard of it?
It sounds like vaguely familiar, but I think that's just because we went to Tea Creek.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But yeah, we'll go there, sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely. We always take suggestions.
I think we should give where we go more thought, because like there's probably so many amazing places that we're just not realizing that we could go to that are nearby.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sorry.
All right. Question from Victor Estrada. Do you enjoy the last trip as much as your first trip? Or I guess our most recent trip as much as our first trip?
Oh.
Or does each trip introduce you to different aspects that you didn't notice on other trips?
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
you know, it's interesting because like our very first backpacking trip in Shenandoah, I was just filled with this sense of wonder that like I still get, but it's like really different because it's the first time you're out there.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like as you learn more, you get to appreciate the wilderness in different ways.
Yeah.
So, and you go to different places. So, I think.
Man, yeah, that's a tough question. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like what Andrew said, you kind of get this appreciation for being outdoors with each trip you take. So I feel like, at least me, I enjoy each trip more and more. And then also on top of that, you know, sometimes I have new equipment, so that helps me enjoy the trip more, you know, because it just gives me a little bit more comfort or whatever. But yeah, I would say, I mean, every so often I just get that urge to want to go camping.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not like the desire is leaving me every time we do a
Yeah,
trip.
yeah.
You know, I just don't want to do it anymore. But
I mean, so like the first time I went backpacking, or the first few times, I've definitely had times where I've gone since then that I've enjoyed even more than the first time. But I don't think like there's no like
trend.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I'm like super,
Yeah,
I've never not liked it. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Like even like when we got rained on in Shenandoah, that was probably like the least enjoyable trip I can think of, but that was just because of the rain.
Yeah.
But I say least enjoyable, it was still very enjoyable, just like compared to other places. Like I'm looking at Yellowstone right there. I'm like, that was a very enjoyable trip.
That was an extremely enjoyable trip. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's like the very first backpacking trip we took. I remember this. You know that feeling when like, I mean, even if you've never done this, but you can imagine it like the first time you set foot in another country and there's all these like cars going by you or something. It's like that sense of like, whoa, this is really surreal.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the most intense that first trip. But at the same time, now I think like recent trips we've taken, I still get that when I'm like just lying under the stars and I'm like, wow, there's so many stars.
Yeah.
And every like that sort of thing never gets old.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Next question from Bryce Newbold. Which one of you first proposed the idea of starting a YouTube channel? I feel like we've discussed this before.
I don't remember.
Do we even know? Yeah.
I don't think like a YouTube channel specifically. I just know that like those Good Times videos were like the first time we were like, yo, we gotta make a TV show out of this. Like Mohican was like the first.
Well, we started the Adventure Archives channel, but we put all of our Good Times videos on there.
Yeah. So, well, the Good Times videos, just as a quick explanation, we would take photos and videos from our old trips, combine them into like little music videos. And then the TV show idea eventually came in like near Mohican, which was like 2010 or 2011.
Yeah.
And then I edited together our trip for that and put some narration to it. And that was like a 15-minute. That's on the channel, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's on the channel. You can watch that. It's really bad.
It's in the behind the scenes playlist.
And I think it's kind of organic. Like we just kind of
It's
naturally.
just kind of the natural progression. If you're making videos, you put them on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Taylor. Did you guys always know you wanted to go into adventure videography, or was it just a hobby?
Hobby. I think.
It was
Yeah,
definitely a
I
hobby.
think so.
Yeah.
We just like.
I mean, we didn't even like realize how much we enjoyed camping
I wouldn't
until
even say we're.
your brother took us camping.
Yeah.
Well, if you mean in it as in like a career, I wouldn't even say we're in it yet.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, like we're talking career. But as far as video, actually, for me personally, I probably realized I wanted to do video in some respect in 9th grade when I made that video. You guys remember? You ever seen White Men Can Jump? Did you see that video I made?
I forget if I feel like I've seen it. I just don't remember.
So my
what happened.
English teacher in 9th grade, he had us make a movie, and it was like a little 10 10-minute video that I made, and it was called White Men Can Jump, and it was like a basketball movie. But yeah, after that, I was like, oh my God, dude, you can edit. I remember do you guys remember the Metal Gear film, right?
Yeah.
So one of the first movies I made was a Metal Gear movie, and I was so proud of it after we finished it. Like, we spent all night editing it, and then like it took all night to render, and then the next morning we watched it, and it was like 5 minutes. It's terrible. Like, imagine the worst homemade video you've ever seen. But to me, it was just like a revelation that you could edit video with music, and it was just like, it'd come out and you'd be like, oh my God, there's possibilities are endless.
No, I specifically remember you had asked me to be in a video, which to me I was like a shock because you were like an asshole back then. We might have to bleep that. But no, if Bill Cosby can say that, then we can say
whatever.
No, but then you showed me that video, and like when you told me about that video, I imagined it was just like crappy home video stuff. But then you showed us the Metal Gear video, and there were like lens flares for the guns.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, this is like incredible.
Oh yeah, we made what was it? Safe Break.
Safe Break.
Yeah.
Oh, we should put that on the channel someday. That would be really funny.
Oh
when
yeah,
Danny
yeah.
Scambry was over here. I don't know if you
I
were
wasn't
here.
there for that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Wait, was that when Danny was here?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was in the.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't
he was me and him, and you were shooting us up.
I think just the other thing is like the wild like nature is my favorite thing to film. Like, it's just like you point the camera in any direction and it's like fantastic. Like when I'm doing my vlog at home and like I'm filming inside the house, it's like you have to get so creative just to make it semi-watchable.
Yeah.
But anything you film outdoors, you just point the camera and it does all the work for you. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Tina Marie. She just says, I want you all to take a trip to Alaska and film there. You got it.
That's funny.
It's in the books.
That was before Thomas and I even talked about it on the podcast, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Next question from Anna Nguyen. How did you guys learn to play all of your instruments, and what are our ages?
So, our current ages. Okay, yeah. Well, piano, me and Bryan both learned from childhood, right?
Yeah,
Like we took
piano
private
lessons from
lessons.
very young.
Classically
I want to say
trained.
young and long ago.
Long ago.
Flute is a funny story for me because I was so it was like, it was elementary school, and like after third grade, after you destroy everyone's ears playing the recorder, okay, which instrument do you want to use? And like, I think two of my friends chose snare drum or percussion in general. So I was, I'm going to do that because they're doing that. And then saxophone was another because Bryan was doing saxophone. I was saxophone's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I actually went in, my mom was worried that like the saxophone would be too big for me because I had the heart problem thing.
Oh, okay.
She thought I'd get like exhausted or something. So we just went with the smallest instrument possible, which was flute, besides the piccolo, and then flute.
Yeah.
Did that till high school.
Well, like Andrew said, we did piano from very young, and then in middle school I started doing jazz band. Picked up the saxophone just because I thought it was cool. Played that all throughout high school, and then sometime like in the middle of high school, guitars became the thing to learn. So everyone was learning guitar, and I remember playing my friends' guitars. I was like, this is super awesome. So I eventually got my own guitar and just self-taught myself. Played through college. I didn't learn any proper guitar technique, so my guitar experience or my guitar abilities are limited, but I still love playing it.
I think you're pretty good at it. So I started playing percussion in 6th grade, and I decided to play that because the high school would come to the elementary school every year and they would do a drum solo at one point in the performance. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm playing drums. So I started playing drums in 6th grade, and then actually my main focus was marimba. So it's like a xylophone type instrument for people who don't know. And then I picked up piano in my last year of high school. I took lessons for a year, and then just self-taught after that. So, yep.
Huh. 1
And
year only.
What was all the questions?
The other part was just our ages.
Oh, ages. 32.
31.
25.
All right.
All right.
All right. We got our next question from Abhilash.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. Do you plan to visit India sometime in the future?
Oh man,
I mean, it's so hard to say definitively.
Can
but
you camp or backpack in India?
there's got to
Like,
be
I
somewhere.
would've
Right?
Hiking,
so.
backpacking.
I would assume.
I would assume
There's
so,
mountains
too.
in India.
I will
there's
assume
jungles.
that you can, unless someplace tells me I can't.
Okay.
Basically. It's
Like,
like,
but you've been to Bangladesh, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Just
cool.
gonna show my ignorance. Is that the same country?
It's actually surrounded on all sides except for a little bit on the east by India.
Okay, got it.
okay.
To the east, it's like Myanmar, I think. But
Oh, okay.
it's very
Also known
similar,
as
but
Burma.
yeah.
Burma's Myanmar, right? Okay.
It's a Seinfeld joke.
Yeah, no, India would be awesome.
Mhm.
Like all the videos I've seen there, I think that would be much cooler to do like a city travel thing.
Actually,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, because the city
Just
is
all of
so
it.
cool, like the markets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
but no current plans or anything.
Yeah. We can't. It's just too early to say.
We would love
yes
to, though.
tonight.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Question from Seth Domback. Is it Domback or Dombach? Do you know?
I've always said Don back, but I actually don't know.
Let
Let me tell you how to pronounce his name.
well, I mean, you pronounced someone else's name like you corrected me, so I was like, oh, maybe he knows.
Yeah. That's a special
Um,
case.
What are your least favorite parts of camping?
Hiking uphill is probably one of mine. But-
That's a good one.
Afterwards, it makes me feel really good. Like once I reach the top, you feel really good, and
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just that point where you get really tired, and then I start to like hate the hiking. But of course, that's what makes finding the campsite and the whole trip rewarding.
I was also gonna say dealing with mosquitoes when that does happen, but it actually
yeah.
hasn't happened that much.
That's because I think we try to actively avoid it.
Just the rain, I think that's the only thing that really comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the rain so much
Yeah,
because it just makes like everything uncomfortable.
it makes everything difficult when you're
Yeah.
camping, and when you throw filming into it, it's just
Yeah.
it's just even worse. Next question from Jason Waff. I'm just gonna say Waff. He said no question. I just love your videos.
Oh, I always said
Thank you.
wog.
Wog. Okay.
Yeah, I guess Waff said. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Question from Sierra Lacey. When are you doing an episode at Mount Rainier or Olympic National Park?
As soon as we can, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
No
like
plans.
we said, I mean, we answered in a previous question. We don't plan that far ahead. Just assume we want to go to that place.
yeah.
And at some point, it might happen.
Yeah.
The whole region of the U.S. is beautiful, though. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man.
I've only been to Seattle. I'd like to go visit that area more.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Portland or something.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from
Wow, there's a
Tim
lot.
Vaz. When do you guys plan on going to HOH Rainforest in Washington State?
Oh,
Andrew
Ho
knows what I'm
Rainforest.
talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know
Is
what
that
you're
what it's
talking
called?
Yeah, that's like the rainforests that are the temperate rainforests. It's like all the trees with covered in moss everywhere. And
Oh.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah, I would love to go there. No plans again, but
No plans.
man, that's actually one of my like top destinations maybe.
But 2017 is still young. There will be plans made.
Don't
Next
get your hopes
question.
up.
Let's not get crazy here.
Next question. Well, like a lot of these questions are very similar. Alicia Martin asks, when are you guys headed to the Everglades? That's Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
would
we
actually
should
be
just
cool.
say all the. If there's no question there, there's someplace we're actually planning on going. Just basically, we'd love to go
Yeah.
to all these.
Not
places.
in the summer
yeah.
though. I wouldn't
Oh,
want to go in there in
no,
the
no, no.
summer. 'Cause
We
it's hot and
can
humid.
say that we do write down people's suggestions.
Yes.
So like if you
Oh,
send
yeah.
a suggestion,
We
we
actually
actually
have
do
a
have a
document,
document
Mhm.
with those listed.
So if a place does get suggested more than once, we tend to notice it.
Yeah.
I know Boundary Waters is high on our list.
Oh.
In fact, even if it's the same person commenting the place, then we'll notice it. So
This person shows dedication.
you can do that. We'll allow that.
All right. Nick Norris asks, ever contract Giardia or any other ailment? And what water filter or treatment do we use?
I have not.
we use a carbon filter. It's the Katahdin.
Like, yeah.
Water
Oh wait,
pump or
actually,
whatever.
you know, after Shenandoah, the first time we ever went there, I had diarrhea for a while, and it might have been from that. And I vowed to never take a normal defecation for granted.
Yeah. I don't think we can definitively say that we've gotten anything.
So after the first Smokies trip, I got mono, and for a while we were
Nucleosis.
suspected that it was Lyme disease or ehrlichiosis or ehrlichiosis. It's something weird like that, but they're both like waterborne parasites or something. And the reason we thought that was, well, one, we went camping out there, but also at one point I was like, man, look how clear this water is. I'm sure you can drink this. So I took like just a sip of the water, and that could have done something, but we don't know. So, but they never found any evidence that it was Lyme disease or the other thing. So,
do you want to repeat what our water filter is?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's the Katahdin water filter. Yeah. That Katahdin is the brand, right?
Yeah,
I will say
it's a carbon pump.
I did drink the unfiltered water in the Smokies.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, in the episode actually.
That one looked. I mean, that one looked safe. It was
like flowing through moss.
Yeah, in the mountain.
That's why I did it actually.
Too wrong with that. Also, hopefully, we do carry iodine. I carry iodine tabs for all of us, just in case.
I didn't know you did that.
Yep, just in case. If the water looks
back up, Bryan.
If the water looks extremely sketchy, or we're in like an emergency situation. Plus, you can always boil water. What are our goals for Scott Brady asks, what are our goals for 2017?
Yep. Okay.
Make more videos.
In life, or
just says what are our goals?
Interpret it as you will.
Well, let's do that. Channel goals and life goals.
Channel goals. Personally, I hope that we, besides obviously make more videos, I hope that we get to do another international trip.
I feel like channel goals and life goals are one and the same for me in a lot of ways. So just like,
for me, it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah, just like make it good, make it big.
Yeah.
Well, not big, but just like make it to a level where we can sustain life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Channel goal, I just want to make videos more consistently.
Yeah.
I think that's really hard. It's like, especially when we edit the episodes, it takes so much out of you. Like we do like marathon editing sessions, so we'll edit for like a week straight. And it's hard to keep up that pace month after month after month. So
that's why you get our podcasts in like chunks. Because Robby will come over and be like, "Oh, let's record a podcast."
Yeah,
that's actually why we're recording this right now.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to edit that scene.
Yeah.
For my life goals, I guess for 2017, or my year goal, I guess, I want to travel more. Because when we went to Japan, it made me realize how much I would be missing if I didn't start traveling more now. Because I mean, it's just Japan was amazing, and there's just so many amazing places out there that I want to see.
Oh, one thing I do want to do is I want to fast in the wilderness, but don't tell
anyone. Except now everyone on the internet knows.
Don't tell my mom.
I do want to do
listening to this right now. I mean, I'll go with you and I'll film it. I'll be eating.
That'd be good
backup.
Andrew, or Robby will be like sitting there eating his sauerkraut in front of you.
Andrew will start hallucinating and just look at me, and like I'll start growing ears and stuff. Life goal for me is to go to bed early consistently. It's been my life goal for like 3 years, but this is my year, man. I've been doing really well in January. Besides this week, I've
been doing really well, except for now.
Except for the second week of January.
Another life goal: get the Switch and play Zelda.
Oh, that's huge. Oh, so on the Switch podcast, I was talking about this, but I measure my life in trying to make it. Trying to stay alive to a next big video game release. So like before Final Fantasy 15 came, I was like, man, I just got to survive long enough to play that game. And then I played it and I was like, okay, good. And then now I'm just like, man, I got to survive long enough for Zelda. As long as I can survive that long, I'll be good.
All right. Next question is Jesse Temple asks, how do you pay for everything?
Pay for, you mean like camping wise?
I just assume anything related to Adventure Archives.
Okay. Deficit spending.
We pay out of pocket basically.
Yeah.
At least when we started, we paid out of pocket for all of our trips. Robby, has most of the camera equipment because that's his job too, and it's his hobby. Nowadays we do get some support, a lot of support actually from our patrons at Patreon.
All the Patreon money goes back into the show
now.
Right now.
That's the thing is like traveling to a lot of local places is pretty cheap for the most part.
Yeah.
But the big ones, like that's where the Patreon really helps.
Yeah. If you're driving somewhere, that's like 6, 7, 8 hours away, it really doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
Once you've got
gas,
the gear,
Mm-hmm. especially in national forest.
But on that note, we want to make give a big thanks to all of our supporters and our
Oh
patrons.
yeah, huge
Like,
shout out to the.
You all know
we
who you
recently
are.
hit our 2,000 goal, so
We fluctuate on that. Sometimes
Yeah,
we're
fluctuate,
above it, sometimes we're above it. But around that 2,000, thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
awesome.
It's a huge, Thank you.
Adam Grove asks Andrew, because this is only for Andrew, how do you remember all the plant information?
There's actually certain plants that I've forgotten. Like, there's plants that just look really like vague and similar to other ones. But I actually keep an album of pictures with like descriptions and labels. So every so often I'll go back to that and look it over. And actually, it's funny because last spring there were some that I forgot, and then when you go outside, you see all these plants, and you're like, okay, I got to remember these. So it's like a refresher course.
Yeah.
But.
And the way I remember all that plant information is I ask Andrew.
No, actually, what I will say is it helps a lot to just go outside and keep seeing them over and over and be like, okay, this I know does this.
Yeah, when
this.
you go for a walk, you just look at the plants around you.
That's the best way to learn. Yeah.
I got a quick question for you, actually. So do you get the same like enjoyment out of those as I do, like looking at video games or something?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so did you start learning?
Don't underestimate his enjoyment for video games.
Did you start learning it because you enjoyed them, or?
Well, so
did you just start to enjoy it the more you did it and the more you learned about them?
Yeah, no, I think they definitely opened it up an appreciation, because like when I first started learning about it, I was learning about trees. I was sitting on that couch over there, and
that one.
Yeah, and I was just like, I should do something with my life. So I was like, started learning trees. And like I've always liked nature and how it looked and stuff, but like, oh, that's over already. But like looking at, when you know certain things about plants, you start to appreciate certain. It's funny because perfect example. Okay, everyone always has these like exotic plants in their yard. Like, oh, this is so pretty. This is so pretty. I'm like, those look terrible to me. Like, why are you planting these bushes? Like, there's all these beautiful, delicate wildflowers that grow naturally, and they just look so much better to me. And like the leaf shapes of like native trees look beautiful to me, and like it's really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Next question from Katsuhiko.
Katsuhiko Jinnai. His name is Warren.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is it Katsuhiko? And then he says Warren Fernandez. Like, is he asking Warren? I guess he saw our Japan vlogs right after this, so he asked, "Did you go video game hunting again?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pick up anything good?
I picked up some soundtracks. Picked up the Secret of Mana soundtrack, Final Fantasy 13 soundtrack, Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack.
Actually, here's a question for you. When you're doing that, like what things stand out to you? Because like when I'm in the forest and I see certain plants, especially ones that like you can eat or something, like, oh yeah.
So I mean, for me, like I know. So when you do like game hunting and stuff, a lot of times you're looking for rare games that you know go for a high price. And it's not even really like, sometimes you don't even want the game. You just like looking for them and seeing what the prices are and then seeing if you can find like your white whales. Like I have a few white whales, like there's a Super Nintendo game called Live Alive or Live a Live or something like that. But it's, man, I'll never forget this. In 2006, when I was living in Japan, I could have gotten that thing for like 500 yen, which is like $5.
Oh man.
Box copy is super nice, and I just always ignored it. I was like, I'll get it one day. And then now it's a rare game, so it goes for like $70, so 7,000 yen easily. And every time I see it, I'm like, dang. So it's like one of those. It's just fun to like look and see what's cheap, or sometimes there's rare stuff, and just to see it in person, that's really fun.
Almost like a museum or something.
Yeah. Like buying it sometimes is less fun than just looking for it.
Same with mushrooms, except eating.
All right. Brett Van Tran asks, what's the most favorite meal you've cooked while on the trail? Let's go ahead and limit this to ones that have been in the episode.
Okay. The stew in Algonquin was pretty dang good. The pizza in Wayne was good too.
Oh, that Algonquin stew, yeah.
Wait, you mean the little calzones?
Yeah, I like those a lot.
Yeah. The calzones from Wayne actually came to mind too.
If we're counting food that anybody cooked, I would have to say the avocado and egg sandwiches that Nicole made. Those were very good.
Yeah, no, that's the definitive answer. Anything Nicole made. Man, she cooked it up good. Good job, Nicole.
All right. Chris Doherty asks, how did we all meet? Well, me and Andrew are brothers, so I met him when he was born.
And I am their cousin, so basically the same.
Yeah.
Thomas, we met because he's my neighbor. So.
Thomas was me and Andrew's neighbor. So I befriended Thomas through by proxy, and Robby begrudgingly befriended Thomas. No, Thomas is cool.
Wait, how did you meet Thomas? When was the...
No, I'll never. This is a great story to tell, actually. So I was probably, I don't know, like early high school, late middle school or something. He was in elementary school. And I remember he came over one time to your house. It was the first time I met him. And then somehow he was like talking about his girlfriend. And I was like, man, this punk is in elementary school.
No, middle school.
Middle school,
Yeah.
okay. And I was like, so like crunchy. Like, what's the actual word?
Salty is how.
Salty, I guess
what
it
people
is
say now.
I was crunchy and salty that he had a girlfriend and I didn't. I was like, man, this
popcorn
little,
flavors.
this little nerd kid has a girlfriend and I don't. But now I would never think like that. And Thomas is great, but that was like my first memory of Thomas.
We should just go from crunchy to salty and just say kettle corn. Man, I was just so kettle corn.
A quick aside: have we told the story of when we went to Hocking Hills for the second time? Like after we visited you in New York.
Yeah.
It was like Danny. Like
Oh,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
they
We
met
were talking
Thomas.
about like our worst trips one time.
I don't know if we talked about that on our podcast. Talk
Okay,
about
so that trip we also went with our friends Danny, which is your cousin on the other side,
Yeah.
and Carl.
Adam.
Yeah. Whatever.
it. Okay, so well, first a little preface. My other cousins are Caucasian.
Yeah.
Thomas is Caucasian.
Yeah.
I'm half Asian. You guys are full
Yeah.
Asian. Okay.
So we were basically all meeting in Columbus. Those two were coming up from Indiana. You're also...
Yeah.
Well, we had actually just visited New York, but anyway.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we were all not around. So Thomas invited those two when they came into town to his fish fry at his like church or whatever.
Right.
And because like they came in and we weren't there. So he's like looking around and he's like, okay, these are Robby's cousins, so they're obviously Asian.
Right.
He's looking around for them. And then those two, for whatever reason, assumed Thomas was Asian too, because Thomas is associated with us.
It was like, oh, Bryan and Andrew are Asian, so their friends must be Asian too.
So they're at this church in the middle of Ohio looking for an Asian person.
Subtle racism.
Walking around. I don't know how they actually found each other, but
Yeah, they must have just saw that like
Someone
searching
else was-
eye.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like somebody
Like,
was
what-
searching. Was that the last question?
One last question.
We got
It's
3
just
minutes,
a-
40 seconds on this.
It was
ST.
just a repeat. It was basically asking what equipment do we record with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think maybe we should have a whole video on that, but
It's in our descriptions.
well, when we
right?
do the
oh yeah, it's in
yeah.
the description.
when
Check
we
our
do the
video
narration though,
descriptions.
we should mention this really quick. We do the narration and we use those mics with those puffy things.
Right.
And we use it for Yelsa and it had all these popping sounds.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we switched to this one with the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the mic quality is the same.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, you need to use a pop filter. These little foam things don't do the full
Yeah.
trick. Which you might be asking yourself why but we don't have
Yeah, I don't
more
know
than one
because we
pop
had
filter.
this. Well, we
Maybe
we
have
had
one
it
in the
though.
car.
I don't know why.
Yeah. All right, but Robby, right off the top of your head, most
Okay.
recent video equipment we were using.
Oh, Sony A7S II, Panasonic GH4, Rode Video Mic Pro, and a tripod,
There you go.
and a GlideCam HD 2000. But
You can find the information in the description of our videos.
yeah,
Whenever we get new gear, we usually update it. So
yeah, it's kind of updated. I don't know.
All right, so really quickly, there's Bryan.
Robby,
Andrew,
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
watching.
Oh, you guys should sign on to Patreon if you want to see the episodes early. We're now also releasing behind the scenes stuff.
Commentary and bloopers.
Commentary and bloopers.
and bloopers. Yeah,
Maybe even something else. I don't know though. No promises.
Yeah. So the new episode should be coming out really soon.
Yeah.
We're working on it this week. It'll be done this week. So patrons should have it by the end of this week or maybe next weekend. Or I don't know
Next
when this is
weekend.
coming out.
Yeah.
So probably
Say
like
next weekend.
The 22nd, 23rd, 24th, that
Yeah.
time frame.
Sometime
That
in the
sounds-
future, you will see it.
Before the end of January.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Have
Thanks
a
so
good-
much.
Have a good year. That camera's running out.
Yeah.